Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have a very full house tonight for us, and we're thrilled to have you all here. Y'all must be up here to see David and Kurt and Kelly and Tia, but we do thank you. It is 6:30. It is Tuesday, December 19th, 2023, and this is a Meadows Place City Council special meeting. And what is special about it is that it is not on our normal date. We moved it ahead because of the holidays. But we do have a quorum. We are missing one council member, Mr. Rick Stagley, who is staying in a place about 30 feet from the beach in Florida. I'm not hoping it rains on him, but anyway. We are here, and I'm going to move on to call to A. We have announced the quorum is present. We are going to ask you to all to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and for the stand and remain standing for the invocation. Miss Emily is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and David Mertens in the invocation. Whenever you're ready. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for this season. We thank you that we can celebrate this time of the year and celebrate your son's birth. Lord, we ask that you watch over us this evening. That you give us wisdom, you give us guidance, you continue watching over Meadows and give us your provision, your protection. And Lord, we just ask that you watch over our decisions, our deliberations, our first responders and staff, our police department, everybody that works with and in the city of Meadows, and our residents, Lord. We just ask for your protection over them. We ask that you bless this meeting to your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Well, thank you very much, Emily. And thank you very much, David. As we have a specific order in which we do, the next item on the agenda is normally reports unless there's something important that jumps up and takes its place. And we have that this evening. We have a proclamation that to be read, and I'm going to step down to the podium. Yes? Thank you very much for checking.
Microphone there.
Well, I was having a private conversation, but I guess we won't. We'll move right ahead. I'm very pleased that you're here, and I want to thank Kurt Kopczynski for making sure that we brought this first to this council meeting instead of missing it. So I just want to say to everybody, this is real important for City of Meadows Place. And we have a tremendous relationship with the school and the school district. And so this is why this is even more special for us to help knit the fabric of this community together. Whereas Audrey St. Germain has been teaching at Meadows Elementary for 3 years and has 17 years of teaching experience. And whereas Ms. St. Germain is respected by both her peers and the Meadows Place community at large, she has been recognized as the Meadows Elementary Teacher of the Year for 2023-2024. Whereas she has spent countless hours in and out of classroom preparing lessons, teaching and empowering her students while raising her own 3 daughters. And whereas she is helping to mold future generations through guidance and education, And whereas our community recognizes and supports teachers in educating the children of this community and this city, and whereas the purpose of Teacher of the Year is to honor the educators that have made a difference in the lives of their students and provided inspiration to their peers. We've certainly done that. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Charles Jessup, on behalf of the City of Meadows Place City Council, do hereby acknowledge Audrey St. Germain as the Meadows Elementary Teacher of the Year for 2023, and do hereby proclaim tomorrow, December 20th, 2023, as Audrey St. Germain Day. And we encourage all members of our community to congratulate Ms. St. Germain on her accomplishments and her dedication and devotion to our community, so proclaimed on the 19th day of December 2023 by me, Charles D. Jessup.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, hold on. Step out front.
Since you're behind all those pictures. They probably couldn't see you. I usually duck down. I don't think I made the picture.
Did I break something? You made a little noise? I don't know what it was. Boy, got quiet. Council, I know you'll agree with this. It just felt good to have this take place in this council chambers, didn't it? All right, moving on to item C. We have first the police department, who will be reported in this by Assistant Chief Jack Ashton, who is on his way to the podium as we speak.
Citizens, thank y'all for staying. The Chief Stewart sends his apologies for being called away at the last moment. You have your packet there in front of you. We will go through the numbers on your spreadsheet. First of all, this is a shorter reporting period than normal, so you'll see the numbers are down a little bit compared to the other months. So accidents, we were at 6. Arrests, we were at 7. Calls for service, 2,457. Reports were 41. Citations for the reporting period, 301 for 521 charges. 0 citations issued for city ordinance violations. Warnings issued, 221 for 237 charges. And then 6 city ordinance warnings were given. Gave us a total activity count of 3,275. As we move down into a little more details about our activity, assaults, we had 1, burglary of motor vehicle 0, burglary of a business 0, burglary of a residence 0, city ordinance contacts 6, criminal mischief 1, fraud 1, robbery 0, our property checks 2,403. Those are up because we're in full-on holiday mode, so the guys are hitting the business district and rolling through the neighborhood. Excuse me. Theft, we had 4. Theft of a motor vehicle, we had 1. In our TLC program, we had 76 pass, 33 fail, for a total of 109 contacts in the TLC program. Again, that's up because we're in the holiday season, and especially with Sam's and everything and all the traffic we have at our businesses, they're out there in full force. Our breakdown of the city ordinance violations, we had 4 contacts for solicitors and 2 for loud noise. I think both of those happened to be birthday parties, but they were in compliance once advised, so no issues there. And then our accidents, no trends to report. They were in various locations throughout the city. As we move into the packet, if you see anything that you have a question about, that please feel free to bring it up. I'm going to go to the page where we look at our flock activity, which is page 4. And we had a few extra, even though it's a shorter reporting period, we had a few more flock hits than we did last month. Stolen vehicle alerts, we've had 6. Sex offender alerts, 12. Stolen license plates, we had 11. Gang or suspected terrorist, we had 16. Missing person alerts, 0. Warrants were 0. Protection alerts were 6. Other agency hot list, 9. And violent persons, we had 0. Moving into our arrest, we had a total of 7. 6 were adult and 1 was juvenile. You can see to your right that 3 of them were for warrants from other agencies, DWI, theft, and criminal mischief. Not the rest are routine, but there are nothing that stands out with these. If you see something again that comes to mind, please feel free to ask. And I will continue on to page 7, which is our additional notes, which is probably the shortest additional notes we've had in some time. Christmas memories did not involve criminals, and it went well in spite of the weather. We are preparing for the New Year's Eve activities because, as we know, it's a very lively evening, and we bring out reinforcements for the evening. And just as a reminder, we have 0 tolerance for fireworks in the city limits, that if they are observed with discharging fireworks, that they will be issued a citation. And then just a quick note, Mesa, we were hoping to be a little further along with the tennis court project, but the all-weather computer cabinet is still on order. They're expecting it to be in this week. and I don't foresee us actually doing anything until after the 1st. And let's see, moving along with that. And then the grant information, the recorder has actually been ordered. We're in motion with that. We had our on-site with Creative Switching, and they have provided a quote for the dispatch console that Jerry Brownlee actually had a meeting today with one of the grant committees to refine for the 13th or 20th time the presentation for that. Say a little prayer that it goes through this time, but it sounds like we have good information and a good handle on our presentation. Portable radios, we have submitted the purchase order. The order is in motion for it. Motorola won't give us an expected date. It's my understanding that we're running on about a 6-month clock with that one. And then still working on the grant. There's a grant that's going to open up in January where we're going to take another run at the car camera system. And that concludes the report unless there's any concerns. Yes, sir.
I know that y'all are working on the security system for the bridge,
Yes, sir.
and now I've been notified to turn on my speaker. Hope you can hear me. Bring me up to date on that. I mean, is there a time frame that you would guess that you're comfortable with?
It's my understanding, sir, that the information has been submitted with the grant and to the engineers.
Yeah,
and
we'll get to that. There's an item on the agenda to talk specifically about that,
About what?
about the bridge.
The
and about-
bridge?
There is, yeah, and a couple of items.
And you know something about it?
I do.
All right. You're off the hook.
thank you.
We'll pass that buck. Watch this. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Council, anybody have anything for Jack? Yeah, good job.
Yes. Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas.
One quick thing, Jack. Can I get the name of the person that y'all caught stealing detergent? They can come to my house and use it.
Yes, as soon as they've been arraigned.
Okay. And tell them don't
I do
steal
want to
where
remind.
you live.
I do want to remind council members that we should not accept stolen property, just as a course. Isn't that odd? Who would have ever thought they'd go out stealing detergent? I'm with you, Kelly. I don't know what to say. All right, that concludes police department reports. Next up is Code Enforcement Officer Jennifer Cabello, who will talk about code enforcement.
Good evening, Council. So tonight's going to be the first quarter report for code enforcement. There were 364 violations opened, 255 were closed. Total weekends worked were 5. Total cases opened were 253. There were also 258 cases closed and 17 citations were issued. Total invalid violations were 111. So currently, the code enforcement software I use periodically updates, and it's done an update where there's some features that are supposed to be more efficient. Therefore, here forward, the invalid violations will be represented on the first page, as you see on the left side of the report, instead of on the second page, itemized. Continuing on, there are the case initiation types. There were 127 proactive, 126 reactive. Violation close types were 227 voluntary, 28 were forced. Abatement activities, there were 676 inspections, 532 notices issued. Moving on to Fort Bend County Animal Services. The Fort Bend County Animal Services submitted 1 report during this quarter. However, I have included the unfortunate 7 abandoned dogs at the dog park in that number. There were 11 impounded, consisting of 1 possum, 10 dogs, and 1 was gone on arrival. So I would like to take this time to remind everyone that if a stray dog is not secured, Fort Bend County Animal Services will not be able to pick it up. Turning to the second page, the top 5 violations for this quarter were grass and weeds in excess of 9 inches, 56, dead landscaping and trees, 39, exterior walls, trims needing repaired, replacement, or repainting, 25, trash cans, recycling bins visible from the streets, 25, trash cans next to the curb on a day that's not a trash day, 22. I'd like to go ahead and conclude this with there was a long-standing home on Meadowdale with various violations. It has come into compliance. The owner's son will be moving into the home in January 2024. And that concludes my report. Any questions?
Yes, I do, but go ahead.
I just had a question. You made the comment that the dogs needed to be secured in order for animal control. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, basically, they'll come out, but if they can't find them, they can't pick them up.
So if I see a dog, I could put it, let's say, in my backyard to secure it, then call animal control, and they would come and get it.
Yes, they have a point of reference to come and pick it up.
But I can't call them and say, I saw a dog roaming down my street.
You can, and they'll go out, but
they won't.
Chances are the dog still won't be there.
Okay. But if they see them, will they take them? Or
yes, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm going to add a caveat to that. Mm-hmm. If the animal responds and comes to the code or to the animal control services person, and they're pretty good, they're professional and they practice this. However, if that animal is skittish, runs off, they are not a dog catcher. Mm-hmm. This is a professional from animal services, and there's a difference. Mm-hmm. And it's $27.50, no matter whether we have it secured or not.
No matter they take it or not.
Anyone else?
Jennifer, I'd like to say, how long were you working on that house on Meadowdale?
I would say probably over a year and a half.
Change Christmas card.
Yeah.
And I want to say part of that is because when they get to court, the courts get changed, get delayed. There's all sort of reasons for something like that. Plus, it's a battle sometimes getting folks to get into the city if they're not here. And this has been one that she has been dogged on pursuing. And she's done it nicely, graciously, and very professionally. And now the light is at the end of the tunnel come January. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, congratulations. I just want to point that out. And, we got 1 possum, and I just remind people that Jennifer told me day possums are good. They eat roaches and they
ticks.
eat ticks and all sorts of things like that. Unlike squirrels that go around and eat baby cardinals. So, and houses. So anyway, thank you very much. Next month, the dog report will not include the 7, or next quarter.
Correct.
Okay. Anybody else got anything for Jennifer?
Good job as usual.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh,
As usual.
we've just heard it declared that you're doing a good job, so we'll accept that, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. Next is the fire report. I'm waiting on the final numbers from Stafford Fire Department to close out, and they'll close out in December. But it looks like our calls for service are up 5 to 6% from Stafford in the City of Meadows Place this year. We were kind of watching that, and that's good. We do have some medical assist from the EMS. We're here. Medical assist from the both reviewed and completed that were processed here in Meadows Place. We had fortunately, no big house fires or anything like that. Several were assisting invalids are responding by either fire or EMS. And so I want to say, all in all, it's about a typical fire report, if there is such a thing. But the one thing I did want to talk, I spoke with Chief Larry DiCamillo earlier. And I'm going to let Rod Gravy train on a little bit of this glory, because he is thrilled with the relationship. He, being Chief DiCamillo, is thrilled with the way City Meadows Place is working to look after his fire station number 3, which is actually our firehouse that we built and we own, by the way. But he's enjoying the support and the relationship, and said everybody in the house understands that if there's an issue, all they have to do is let us know. And Rod, I will say at this point, I think the firehouse understands that. They believe that. And now, instead of sitting around and griping about it, as most of us are wont to do, they pick up the phone and let somebody know. And they know and trust the fact that City of Meadows Place, meaning you and your folks, are going to look after it right away. So congratulations and thank you very much. He has 0 complaints about the responses from fire station number 3. So thank you very much. And he's looking forward to continuing this type of relationship on into 2024. It's important for us to have them here. We have had them leave in the past when we've lost power. And it's just a little bit feeling naked out there when they're not there. So it's important that they work with us. And City Meadows Place has that a priority in maintaining that relationship as well as the one at the school. So we're doing pretty good, and that's all the fire department report is there. So if anybody has anything, ask Rod or Chief DiCamillo. This report is over. And I'm moving on to City Administrator's report. Nick Habe, City Administrator.
Mayor, I'm gonna delay my comments until we get down to the council comments for Rick Stagley, because I'm going to be taking over for that item. So that's going to be the bulk of my discussion. I'll wait for that item.
Good. More for me. I'm moving right into Mayor's comment. I know Courtney looked at me a little bit strange when I said I want to put an item on the agenda, stranger danger. For those who didn't know, I got grown kids and they're gone, so I really don't worry about them too much. But I had my grandkids over. Kids were out up at the park. School was out. And I started looking at all those kids running all over our neighborhood, and I'm so happy that they can do it and feel safe to do that. But I also noticed the uptick in delivery trucks, drivers that are in the neighborhood that frankly didn't used to be here, and now they are. And I started wondering, what do you say to your kids today, because it's a different world than it was when I was raising mine, and what is my role in reminding my grandkids when they hear about, for lack of a better word, stranger danger. Now, I don't want to put fear into their hearts. I don't want to get them all tense or scared, but I want to make them make them aware that there's some things that we just shouldn't do. And I came across an article from Johns Hopkins University. It was very well done, as you can imagine. But it was giving some parents some important reminders about how to talk to kids and about talking to kids about this very important subject. I'm just going to give a section for a second, but they said, and I'm quoting, "When in public, it's important for us to keep a good eye on our kids and keep them safe, but also for them to have the skills to manage a stranger should they be approached." They say things like this: don't say never talk to strangers. Well, what did I tell my kids? Don't ever talk to strangers. everybody who meets a stranger. So they say don't say that. Instead, it's almost like you're working for a city or a parks department or something. They say you should not approach it. You tell your kid you should not just approach anyone. If you need help, look for a uniformed officer, police officer, a store clerk with a name tag, or a parent with children. And that's the advice you give your kids instead of don't talk to strangers. You don't say stay away from people you don't know. You say it's important for you to get my permission before going somewhere with anyone. Always get my permission. Now, tips like this are handy, and there's a lot out there available, just like this article. But the most important thing may be to talk to our kids about this very sensitive but important topic. And I wanted to bring that up because we got kids running all over the city right now, and we got people going all through our city. And for all the thousands of people watching here online and up in Meadow, Texas, we want to just remind everybody that our kids are our most precious possession. Let's do what we can to protect them. And with that, I'll conclude that and go to Happy Holidays. I want to say I put something in the newsletter about Happy Holidays, and it's certainly a festive-looking city. Jennifer was talking to me, and I turned around and talked to her, and she was gone. I said, "Where'd you go?" She went, "Well, I wanted to go drive down Montecito. I wanted to go look at the lights before the meeting." I said, "Well, now, what'd you think?" She said, "It's really nice out there. There's a lot of stuff out there." And I felt the same way. I think the city, meaning the city lights, look better than they have ever, maybe. They look really, really good. There's a lot of lights throughout the neighborhood. And what I'm like is that I noticed people were taking pictures of it at night, posting it on social media, giving their address and say, "Drive by my house and look at my lights." And I thought, well, that sounds like a good idea, and I hate my social media, but I might follow this part. And so I did. And I see people out driving around Meadows Place looking at our lights, and it's beautiful out there. But I do want to remind everybody that these are holidays. As Jack says, the crooks are in here shopping too. The TLC program reminds everybody to put your stuff away. When you go to the store, don't come back. Leave it in your car because you're just going to be here for a few minutes and leaving. Put it in the trunk in the store so nobody sees it. And then when you come home, you take it out of your trunk. That's what the TLC program is that Jack alluded to, is up to 109 contacts this month instead of the normal 30 to 60. And by the way, that was a pretty good ratio. I was pretty pleased with that. I know y'all had to be. But I also want to remind everybody that holidays and the basis for the holidays start with holy days. And if I can just ask people just during this busy holiday season to take a moment and reflect on the holy days. And if you got kids and grandkids around, visit with them about it. It'll make our city that much nicer. With that concludes the mayor's comments. And now we've got a lot of council comments, I understand, from Rick Stagley, who's not here, or about his topic. Nick.
Well, I'm going to do my best Rick Stagley impression, although I don't know I'll do it justice. But do want to mention the mobility bond discussion in terms of the bikeway. And so the 100% plans for that project have been submitted to the city, which is a good thing by the engineer. And Rick Stagley, in addition to being a good project manager, as you know, for the city, he's also a really good plans reviewer for the city. And so he took that plan set and he went ahead and reviewed that plan for the city, had a number of comments and markups. And so not long ago, a few weeks ago, we got together with the engineer and had a group conference call where we went through all of those comments item by item. and address those comments on the plan set. And so through that, we made some good changes, some good corrections to the plan set. The bottom line is still what it's always been, which is that we're still waiting on CenterPoint approval before we can move forward on bidding. But the good news is that once the engineer takes all of the comments and makes the corrections, we'll be prepared to go ahead and bid the project. Now, the mayor mentioned the magnetic time locking mechanism that is designed to be put on the bridge itself. That detail has been submitted to the city by Mesa Systems, and that detail has been shared with the engineer. And so the engineer has all of the detail on not only the model number, but the detail on how the magnetic lock would attach to the bridge electronically. We know that we need to run electric out to that bridge, which is something the engineer is working on as well. We talked a little bit about where that should go in terms of should it be at the fence line or should it go ahead and be at the bridge itself. We know that we want it timed so that we could actually program it to unlock and lock at certain times. That way the bridge would not be accessible. And so those are things we were talking about as well. But ultimately, unfortunately, we kind of are where we were last time we met about this, which is we're still waiting on CenterPoint to go ahead and approve the design as drafted. But the good news is that on our end, we've gone ahead and done what we need to do to get ready to bid the project when ready. Again, this is a mobility bond project that's through Fort Bend County, and so we'll be, when it's time, we'll have to be very deliberate about making sure that we have the documentation for the grant or for the bond. So all that to say that progress has been made, but still waiting on CenterPoint.
Okay, and I was anxious to call CenterPoint last time, and Rick went, whoa. We haven't submitted everything. And I went, what about, no. So now I'm here and we've submitted everything.
We've got the plan set corrected and we got the plan set ready to go. Yeah, and so they have what they need. They have
CenterPoint has what they need.
CenterPoint has had what they needed for some time now.
So I can call them up and wish them Merry Christmas.
You can call
Ask
them up.
where my plan set is. Okay.
You
That's
can.
all I needed to know. And we've got the timer on the gate, because I know that changed, and I thought it was really cool out in the middle and doing it, and we said, no, that's stupid. We're moving it. So we've done that, and it's going to be over by the fence, and it's going to have timers. But your schedule changes all the time, does it not, Colleen? I mean, have y'all got some sort of way to electronically override that thing? You can just nod if you...
Yes, that is true.
Okay, you can't talk anymore. You have to go to the microphone. That's all. I got what I wanted. The answer is yes, they've got it all figured out.
We will have flexibility in making sure that we can get in and out.
That's all I want to know. It's real simple. With that, anybody have any questions for Nick?
For the cups.
Yes. Should have given you out of mayor's time. I'm sorry, but Rick's not here, so you take some of Rick's time.
Yeah. Okay. First off, Colleen, thank you for letting us use the rec center. It makes it go a lot easier, and I don't have to clean my house for everybody coming over. I had over a dozen of our youth show up on their first day off from school at 9 a.m.
Wow.
Which is, if you know me, that's just a horrible time. And we put together these mugs for the Meadows Place Senior Village. Okay, and it's a coffee mug. There's an ornament in there, some cake, a hand-dipped chocolate spoon, courtesy of my daughter. Just different things, candy canes, hot chocolate, and all. And they were handed out today with the invite. We're doing a party tomorrow during the day or Thursday for the Meadows Place Senior Village and all. But I'd like to personally thank these kids that showed up. Elise and Elaine Tran, Kristen Bedford, James Autry, Sarah Kate, Matthew Autry, Olivia and Dominic, Julie Banos, Junior Bettingcourt, Kristen Mahan, Dean Mahan, and Andy Mahan, and my buddy Brandon. Okay, I think that was all of them that I could see moving around, but they set it up, and I mean, it was like an assembly line. And all within a couple of hours, we had over 200 mugs done and ready to go, and back in my van. So shout out to the youth of Meadows Place.
Well, Kelly, I'm impressed that you were up at 9 o'clock. But I'm really impressed that those kids took off the first day of summer to come up and serve other members of the community. That's just pretty darned impressive, and I am impressed with that. But guys, that's what helps make this city special, and it'll keep it special. So you saw little ones here. They're here recognizing the Teacher of the Year, and they grow up to come serve others. Kelly, thank you for ramrodding this thing, and without you, it wouldn't be happening. And I know why it started, and not many people would have done more than just complain, because everybody else was complaining, and then there was this tornado called Kelly Mills that all of a sudden had a party organized, and that was the most fun, fantastic party, and I'm glad to see it continued, and kudos for Kelly. Let's give Kelly a round of applause. All right, with that, we're moving on, unless you had some more bridge stuff. Okay. Moving on to item E, the regular agenda. There's some interesting and some good stuff here, folks. Item number 1 is discussion, consideration regarding ordinance number 2023-40, establishing a special fee entitled Utility Infrastructure Fee and special fund for the purpose of rehabilitation and construction of present and future public water and sewer utilities. Council, what I'm looking for is a motion to approve this special fund, for which is now $10 a month, will appear on the bill starting in January, I believe it is.
So it will be the bill that we actually receive in February.
Yeah, it goes out. Okay. So
I'll make the motion.
A motion by David Mertens.
Second.
Second by Tia. I've got a point of discussion. Congratulations, Council. As we went through and worked through this, and this was something that was really important to this council, because the future of the city is important to this council. But one thing was that it be set up as a special fund so that the members and the residents of the city of Meadows Place knew what the heck it was, or could call them and say, what's the special fund thing, or look on the website and find out what the special fund. This was a big deal, and had to jump through a bunch of legal hoops, get a lot of legal opinions, and it took a lot of work. And I got overruled as far as, well, let's just do it and see if anybody sues us. But we actually go in there now feeling comfortable and confident. And council, that's because of your efforts in saying, no, we really want to maintain it. David, you in particular, stood up at that meeting and says, I would really prefer it be titled a special fund so that people would know. So that's my only comment. This is a very wise thing, and it'll help and serve the city well for years. But y'all, my hat's off to council for breaking it out and making it easy for the people of Meadows Place to understand.
Yeah, I think my other comment is this has been a long and thorough process. We've had a lot of discussion starting with a capital projects shortfall when we did the plan a year ago, almost 2 years ago, the first time, I think. We realized that the utility fund was not to where it needed to be. We made some changes in the water billing, but we also looked at the fact that we're still going to be short for a number of years. We just came out of a year where we spent a tremendous amount of our reserve repairing water wells and a lot of water breaks because of the drought this summer. And so part of this process included an open town hall meeting where we took comments from residents, got a lot of comments. As a matter of fact, I think other than maybe the recent dog park and maybe a couple other things we've had, it was a lot of participation. And we entertained all different levels. And what we finally settled on was one that many of the residents said, if you're going to do it, at least make it palatable, make it affordable for those of us who are on fixed income or have limited resources. And so I think this fee, because it's designated, because it's $10, it is going to be a cost that our Meadows residents are going to have, but it's one they're going to see the benefit from as we have money now to take care of infrastructure repairs and for future replacement. So I think I think this was a year in the making. I think last August when we had the public hearing, it was there. Again, we jumped through some legal hoops to make sure that it was something that we could handle. And with that, last month from our city attorney letting us know, I think this ordinance is well written, and it's a worthy thing for us to keep Meadows as we've said a great square mile.
Sorry. Mayor, I also want to emphasize for those that want to read this ordinance, Exhibit A is very important. And Exhibit A is something that the city attorney actually talked to us about as well whenever we presented this to him. Exhibit A shows your fund balances at this time. You might recall that not long ago in our water utility, you wanted a 10-month reserve, what we might call a rainy day fund, in that fund right now. But if you look at all of our committed funds, you actually only have about 4.9 months of reserves on hand right now as opposed to the 10 that you want, which means that you're about $817,000 short of your goal for your rainy day fund. Now, that's a big deal in a utility fund, particularly when we have a water and sewer system that's aging and needs repair. So when you look at this fee, I think that Exhibit A is a good representation of why this ordinance is in front of you tonight, and I think that's why it's so important that it is an exhibit to the ordinance. And I just wanted to emphasize that tonight.
We've had a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. And David, it's been, Kurt, we went round and round and round and round on this, trying to do what's best, and I think this is about a darn job of any council in Fort Bend County done. Item number 2, discussion and consideration, Resolution 2023-39, appointing 4 directors of the Economic Development Corporation for a term commencing immediately upon passage of this resolution and ending on December 31st, 2025. Council, if I can flip over to my paperwork, and I'm going to have to beg off a little bit. I'm having a hard time seeing. I think we've got 3 directors sitting there and 1 vacancy. There has been discussion of amending this to include all 4 directors. And T, I'm going to turn this over to you to do that.
Okay, microphone for you, Tommy Cameron. I would like to make a motion to amend this, and I would like to I'd like to propose that Charles Jessup take the 4th spot. You have helped us out on EDC over the years, and I think you'd be a great addition for that 4th vacancy.
Second.
So we have a motion and we have a second to amend the ordinance.
No.
So that's all. We don't have to do. We don't have to vote.
It's not an amendment. It's just a motion appointing Tim Gooding, Tia Baker, Richard Ramirez, and Charles Jessup.
Okay.
So she took some of the fun out of
Motion
it.
for that.
Yes.
Motion as read by the city secretary.
A second for that is read by the city secretary.
Okay, we had a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. And thank you very much. I will, I think more importantly, in the next couple of months, this is going to be an important position. Okay, item 3, discussion, consideration, resolution 2023-40, appointing 3 commissioners, 3 alternates to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Do we have a motion in this, and their names are in your packet? Yes, go ahead and state them for the motion.
So this would be appointing Sean Ulrey, Mike Elmore, and Stuart Behrman as commissioners, as well as Sammy Skimp, Ann Green, and Nathan Mahan as alternates for Planning and Zoning Commission.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Tia.
Second.
Second by Kurt. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Item number 4, discussion, consideration, resolution 2023-41, appointing 5 members and 4 alternates to the Meadows Place Board of Adjustment for a term commencing immediately and ending on December 31st, 2025. And if I could get the city secretary to read the names.
This would be appointing David Pawanka, Chris Golick, Terry Henley, Joe DeBruin, and David Lance as members of the Board of Adjustment, and Joseph Wayman, Audrey St. Germain, Ken Smith, and Ping Long as alternates.
Move to approve.
Motion by Kurt to approve. Second by David. Any discussion? I do. The names of the people we just listed off are our names of our boards and commissions are just doggone impressive. Mm-hmm. They really are, and they're so strong, and I'm just so thrilled to be able to say, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All of those names carried unanimously, and there's a good reason, because they're very good people. And I thank them very much. Item number 5, discussion and consideration on resolution 2023, creating City Meadows Place training travel policy procedures. Council, due to the fact that we're just getting a little more grown up and sophisticated, and we're trying to lay things out where there are no gray areas or questions. We have had before us put a Meadows Place travel and training policy and procedures ordinance, our resolution, and I'm assuming everybody's discussed it, or if they've had any questions, they've called city administrator or city secretary. Does anybody do? I'm just going to ask for a motion first, and then we'll have discussion.
Sure.
I'll have a motion to pass this.
Move to approve.
Kurt. Second.
Second.
Okay. Each got your Tia. Now, discussion. You want some information you want
Just
to
briefly, so staff, after our last meeting and this discussion, staff did get together and go ahead and craft a policy. It's fairly straightforward. It's 4 pages. It is borrowed from a lot of other policies out there in the city universe. And so want to give credit to Courtney for finding some of those other cities that had these policies and putting one together that really fit the personality of our town. Staff did get together, reviewed this policy together. We went ahead and took quite a bit of time massaging it and making sure that it made sense for us. I do want to emphasize a few things because I know it might already come up, but one of the things I want to emphasize with council is after discussing with you at the last meeting, the idea of lodging on page 3 is something we talked a lot about. Now, while we are limiting staff to that 50-mile radius, you might see that little sub-bullet under there that exempts elected or appointed officials from that travel radius. I want to emphasize that to you now. That's something that we think is important. But outside of that, we are going to have, obviously, a travel advance form as well as a travel expense form. Those travel advance forms will need a department director approval before an employee will be able to go ahead and take a trip for education, training, that kind of thing. So with that, if you have any questions, we're here. Otherwise, the resolution stands in front of you.
Thank you, staff, for putting this together, Courtney and Nick. This is great. I'm glad we have this in place. Sad we didn't have it before, but like everyone said, we're getting more professional. There was one small change I wanted to make to it. Vehicle rental, I know we don't do that often, but right now it's at $30 per day, including tax. I did a search today, just looking up what prices are, and economy vehicles are running about $60 a day right now. So I think we need to increase that number. I think 75 might be a good option just because adding in taxes as well. I don't, 75 taxes. Yeah, it was 61 for an economy vehicle plus tax.
I will say it's fairly, historically it's fairly rare for an employee to ask to rent a car, but it's certainly something that is up to you guys to decide what that threshold is.
Were you going through Expedia? I was just curious.
Yes. I went through one of those sites that checked all kinds of different ones.
You're right. I looked for cars recently, and it actually was a little bit higher. I don't know, 75 seems high, but we can always adjust it if needed down the road if we didn't want to go that high. So,
well, it's the max, and so I guarantee you that if an employee attempts to rent a Suburban to go to Austin, we're going to have words.
75.
But if you go ahead and cap it, then we can have whatever that number is as a max.
Okay.
Everybody good with 75?
I think we had
Because that's
somebody-
including tax.
We've had it once that I know of.
We did have an employee rent a vehicle 2 months ago. We did not cover the cost of the rental, but the mileage reimbursement did cover the rental cost.
We have a motion to
Yes,
Maximum.
maximum
$75?
$75 including tax.
I'll second that.
Aye.
Yeah. The only comment I would make, because this, I think I've shared this with both Courtney and Nick. I think this is really well drawn. I think the other thing I want to let the community know, or the city know, this was a proactive. We didn't have any issues with travel expenses. We didn't have any problems. There was no abuse. This is really to get out in front of it. So I just want to thank the staff for being proactive in something that was missing from our policies. So thank you.
I'm going to agree on that, David.
Right. Yeah.
Microphone.
The microphone set it all off. But I do want to say thank you very much, David, for bringing that up, because this is a proactive policy. And because of that, I'm kind of proud of it. I hate forms. I hate that stuff. It drives me crazy. But this case is something that is laid for us. So now anybody that works here 14 years from now will have it all laid out in front of them, and there'll be no problems. And that's what we're eliminating, is gray areas and questions in the future. So we are now with a motion to pass it motion to pass as amended, and we have a second. All in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. We can sail off into the sunset now, knowing that we can handle travel discussions.
Remember, Council, this is a living document, and so when we find out that maybe one of these dollar amounts is obsolete, we will revisit. I promise.
I promise too. Okay, discussion and consideration regarding ground rules for use of city parks and public grounds. Our parks director was charged with putting together an example of the sign that she would like to put in the park, showing the parks rules that needed to be expressed out to the general public. And we have in a packet an example of the sign, and the rules that are listed forth. I'm going to ask Colleen to come up because somebody, I'm sure, will have a question. Like I did. Like, why are some of them in black and some of them in green? Do you have an answer for that?
Yes, it makes it for a much easier read.
Oh.
That's why.
Okay.
So as far as the sign, I know one of the questions you guys had previously was the size. We didn't want something very obnoxious in our parks. The actual size is going to be much like a yard sign, so a 2.5 by 2 foot size sign. It'll be posted in each park. And then in addition to that, we'll be making, this isn't per size, but we'll be making a type of a sticker of some sort with a QR code, and then it says City of Meadows Place, scan for park rules. So that'll go like on top of a picnic table, maybe on a post of the pavilion area. So we don't have to have the large signs throughout the whole park, just one sign about a 2 by 2.5 foot.
Thank you, Colleen. One thing in our packet, Council, it printed incorrectly, so you can't read all the things on the far right. So I'm just going to read those out real quick so we can all know what it says. So the far right would be generator, glass containers, bird seed, fireworks, pop-up tent, powder paint, littering, and open flames. Just wanted to make sure we all knew there was additional on there.
I thank you too, because the one I was looking at in the mayor's room was had all the stuff on it. Okay, so this is strictly a discussion. Is there any rules that you want to discuss with the Parks Department? Because she's here. It's 7:30. She stayed late.
I have a question. So it is cut off, so I don't know if there are more words, but one thing that we did talk about last time was pop-up tents. Where is that listed on here? And my concern with the pop-up tents are baseball season. Mm-hmm. I know that a lot of the baseball families use them, especially when it's super hot. They'll put them together and sit under them. So I was just curious, did we include this and I don't see it, or?
Yeah, it is in the third column, pop-up tent.
Is it pop-up? Did I miss it? Oh, okay, that's cut off. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so what about those situations?
Well, as the swim team had brought up to our attention as well, safety is the issue. That's why that's on there. And so educating, making sure that they are either sandbagged or weighted down.
Or staked or something. That's kind of what you're saying. We can, but there needs to be some sort of a weighted.
We don't want them for general use in the park. Yeah. These rules are going for those that are coming in, day users of the park, birthday parties, those types of things. What you're talking about more is an event,
yes.
And that goes under the guidelines of the Pony Baseball. Okay. So that's your organization. Same thing with the Meadows Marlins. That's their organization. So their committee is going to oversee to make sure that those tents are safe. And I would ask the same thing of the Baseball Association, is that someone is putting eyes on it and making sure that those are safe as well, because as a team, they're responsible for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good answer, wasn't it?
Yes.
My only other comment is on the large park. I think more than one sign's probably going to be needed, maybe up towards the gravel and maybe another one over by the concession. I think just having one in a park that size probably isn't, even though we don't want to have signs everywhere with all the rules on them. I think at least multiple signs for the main park would be appropriate.
Agreed. Certainly a McGrath Park, yeah, that would apply. The other ones, the pocket parks, certainly just one.
And enforcement, I know we talked about before, it's by the PD, right?
Correct.
So it'll be an official ordinance that they can enforce. And if your staff sees anything, will you instruct your staff to speak with the public, or will it be a, hey, call the PD on it type thing?
That's a good question. Again, we are not the police, so we are not going to get in any altercation with the public. We can certainly help educate and point out the sign and remind them that these are enforceable. But I will also let my staff know that, if there's any distress or any concern there, to relay to the police officers. But yes, and they do now. They help remind them that there's leash laws in place and things of that nature. But again, we're going to also work with Cameron in getting this out socially, doing PSAs on Facebook, on the website, and then in the newsletter as well.
And I'm glad the staff will be allowed to, remind, because it's better to have that than a police officer show up and, riles things up.
Correct.
Thank you.
Darn police officers.
We have a policy against riling things up. I don't know if...
No riling.
Do these with approving these, and I don't know what we're doing tonight, does this create an ordinance that's then enforceable?
Yeah, that'd be the next step. So what we would do is we would couch this within 94.22, which is the existing ordinance for parks right now. And so when Colleen and I first talked about this, the idea was, how do we go ahead and make this enforceable? Well, you do it via ordinance. And so we actually already have an ordinance in the Code Book, Chapter 94, that does deal with some park rules, but certainly nothing the likes of which we're looking at here. So the next step would be to take these and incorporate them inside 94, have council approve it at the next meeting, and then it would be enforceable via the possibility of even a Class C misdemeanor if necessary.
So with that, council, we're done. We will get this sign packed into the ordinance of 94.22. We should see that next month. Okay. So with that, we're done.
Okay.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you.
And good job on the trout release, by the way. That was so much fun. Okay, I'm out down to consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Kurt for sure. I'm going with Tia for. Yeah. I'll have to tell him I think he beat him. I think he beat his time. So we've had a motion. We second on the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. And item G is my favorite one. It's for audience comments for items not on the agenda. Would anyone like to come up and address council? You had your chance. Moving on. Item H.
Wait. Oh, hold on. Yeah, sorry. Did we? We didn't officially move on, did we?
For you, we can back up to you.
Sorry, I'm a little under the weather, so I'm moving a little slow. I just want to remind everybody that Swim Team is having the Polar Plunge on January the 1st. It will be nice and warm that day, and that's the hot cocoa. But it is a good cause. It's raising money for Swim Team, and it's always a lot of fun. If anything, throw your kids in there and just watch them. So please come out and support.
And that's on January 1.
January 1 at the pool. Yes.
I'll be here. I won't be here. I was going to jump in this year. Okay. So, audience comments have been reminded that January 1 we have a polar plunge. Has anybody else got anything before we move on to item H, which is adjourn? All right, item H. Hearing no objections, this meeting is adjourned.
Good job.